Hello YouTube. I told you guys I would give you an update on this Gray Ghost Precision Mark II Heavy. Had a lot of questions about an update, so I thought I would do a video for it. So in the original video, I gave you all a quick tabletop review of the weapon itself, the unboxing. And overall, I was pleased with the weapon. It came with a scratch on it, but it wasn't that big of a deal in the big scheme of things. And so I took it out this past weekend and really put it through its paces. Put probably close to maybe 700 rounds to it. Maybe that's not through its paces to a lot of guys, but for a weapon that I use for pretty much mid-range to long range, that's a lot of rounds for a weekend. So I initially got it out and zeroed it, and I used Federal Match King 168 grain. I like that round. It's a good round for me, and zeroing it went pretty easy. This Night 4 scope is an NXS, and it's a 2.5 to 10, and it's the power on it isn't huge. And a lot of guys I shoot with have all of them run more powerful scopes on their AR-10s, 308s, but I prefer not to do that. The reason is I like to use the AR-10 as a street fighting type weapon. So I need to be able to use pick this weapon up, and it has many purposes. One is I can clear corners with it. I can street fight, move from building to building, and if I need to take a 400-yard shot, I can still do that fairly easily with a 10 power scope. And so that's what I did this weekend. I zeroed it, and then I pushed it out to about 400 yards and took shots, mainly steel after the zero. And it did great. I'll tell you, during the zeroing process, it is dead on. Once I got it grouped exactly where I wanted it, I went around the target just picking points, and it was dead on at 100 yards. It's you could hit a dime with it. It's the barrel on it is very nice. The trigger on it is very nice. I love the trigger. Of the weapons I shot this entire weekend, which was many, this Timney trigger on this was my favorite. And there was I put a lot of rounds through my Mark 18 as well, and it has the Geisley in it. But I really like this flat face trigger a lot. And so it zeroed quickly and very precise. And pushing out to 400 yards, it stayed on steel very easily. 400 yards isn't nowhere near close to the limits of a 308, but it's close to the limits of this scope. But I thought it was pretty good. We ran out of range at 400 yards, so we couldn't push past that. And then just put some rounds through it, some rapid fire drills and things like that, and it did very, very well. But I did have one hiccup. After about 100 rounds through it, the handguard came off in my hand. So this is a 16-inch barrel, and this handguard is only held in place by 2 bolts. That's those 2 bolts you see right there. And I'm sure that it's designed the way it is so that you can reach or access the gas block, the adjustable gas block. And, you know, it's a very sophisticated adjustable gas block, and it's very nice. Almost everything on this weapon is top of the line, but they hooked this handguard on, and there's only 2 bolts that hold it in place, and there was no Loctite or anything on the bolts. No blue Loctite, no nothing. And so, if you were actually using this weapon in a situation where you needed it and that handguard came off, it can cause a lot of problems. Could get you killed, actually. So my suggestion is, if you buy a Grey Ghost precision handgun rifle, check those bolts, go through them, make sure that they have some Loctite on them. Or during that break-in period, you periodically check those bolts to ensure that they're not coming loose or backing out. And so then I got it back, and you know, I thought that after that that I had a pin backing out, but it wasn't the case. Everything else seemed fine. Took it apart, cleaned it, inspected it. No wear marks where there shouldn't be wear marks. Everything was absolutely perfect, with the exception of that handguard coming loose. So even with that handguard coming loose, I expect more from a weapon of this price point. But if that is the worst thing that has happened, I still recommend the weapon. I mean, I've had much cheaper ARs, AR-10s, around the $1,000 range. It gave me no problems at all. At all. And so, I mean, it would be hard to say, you know, give this weapon a lot of kudos if it didn't shoot so well. But it shoots very well, puts rounds exactly where you want them to be. And in the end, that's the most important thing. So yeah, I do recommend steel, Grey Ghost Precision, Mark II Heavy. Did very well, shoots very well. Almost everything on this weapon is top of the line. So yeah, I recommend.